If you're receiving the state pension in the UK, what applies to you depends entirely on when you retired. There are 3 completely different groups of pensioners in this country, and most people have only ever heard the rules that apply to somebody else. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which group you're in and what deadline you need to act on. Welcome back to Pension and Benefits Guide, where we break down the pension system in plain English, no jargon, no confusion. Let's start with Group 1. If you retired between 2020 and 2026, you're on the new state pension system. Right now it pays £241.30 a week, £12,547 a year, with 35 qualifying NI years. The triple lock for April 2027 is forecast at around 2.8%, adding roughly £6.76 a week. But here's what most people in this group don't know. The Finance Act 2026 confirmed that from the 6th of April, 2027, just 8 months away, unspent pension pots will be included in inheritance tax for the first time. Until now, pension savings passed to your family completely outside inheritance tax. From April 2027, they'll attract the standard 40% charge above the nil rate bands. This hits Group 1 hardest, because you're the most likely to still have large, undrawn pension pots. If that's you, speaking to a financial advisor before April 2027 isn't optional anymore, it's urgent. There's a second point for Group 1. If you have fewer than 35 qualifying NI years, you can fill gaps for around £97 per missing year, adding about £6.89 a week permanently. But the window to fill older gaps closes in April 2027. After that, only the last 6 years can be filled. Check your NI record on gov.uk this week. Quick favour before we move on, if this is useful, hit like and subscribe, it genuinely helps more pensioners find this information. Now, Group 2. If you retired between 2010 and 2019, you landed in the most complicated transition period in UK pension history. The new state pension started in April 2016, and your starting amount was calculated using a mix of old and new rules. Many people in this window had a deduction called COPE, the contracted out pension equivalent, applied, going back to contracted out arrangements from the 1980s and 90s. This can explain why your amount is below £241.30 without anyone telling you why. Check your personal tax account on gov.uk, or request a BR19 state pension forecast, and look for a COPE figure on your record. But here's the most important part for Group 2. There's a DWP correction exercise closing in March 2027. The DWP has identified 130,948 cases of underpayment, totaling over £804 million, mostly women who retired before April 2016. Many married women were entitled to an uplift based on their husband's NI record, and the DWP systems failed to apply it automatically. The average correction is around £5,500 for married women, and over £11,000 for widows. If you're a woman who retired between 2010 and 2019 and your pension has always seemed low, call the pension service and ask directly whether it reflects your husband's record. 8 months left. Now, Group 3. If you retired before 2009, you're on the old basic state pension. It's currently £184.90 a week with a full record, though many of you receive more because of SERPS or the state's second pension. Widows and widowers should specifically ask whether inherited SERPS entitlement from a late spouse has been applied. Here's the part that tends to make people genuinely angry. At age 80, the state pension increases by 25p a week. Not £25, 25p. That figure hasn't changed since 1971. Back then it meant something, today it's about 0.1% of the full pension. There's no action to take here, it's simply worth knowing. The second update does have an action, same March 2027 deadline. Women in their 70s and 80s who retired before 2009 are the largest group affected by the DWP correction exercise. Averages are £5,500 for married women, over £11,000 for widows, some cases over £40,000. If your late husband reached state pension age before March 2008, his inherited entitlement may never have been applied. Call the pension service and ask that one question. It takes about 15 minutes, and any correction is permanent. So here's the full picture. Retired 2020 to 2026, check your inheritance tax exposure before April 2027 and review your NI record. Retired 2010 to 2019, check for a COPE deduction, and if you're a woman, call about your husband's record before March 2027. Retired before 2009, know your age addition is still 25p, and if you're a widow, call now about inherited entitlement before March 2027. Tell me in the comments, which group are you in, and did anything here surprise you? If this helped, share it with a pensioner you know. A lot of people are owed money and don't realize it. Subscribe to Pension and Benefits Guide, and I'll see you in the next one.